How are you looking after the international break in terms of injuries? Is there some concern over Joe Riles in midfield?
Yeah, Joe. Ironically enough, he was bad when he came off, having got sent off. And then checks. We've done some checks later on in the week, and he's chipped a bone in his knee, so he's going to be out a few weeks. Is Joe. So could have told me that before we appealed, couldn't he? Instead of wasting half a day. And then, but Smithers is back tomorrow. He's been out. He's had a bad shoulder injury, Smithers, and it's not. He didn't really respond to treatment, but he's trained now this last 10 days, and so he'll be back on the bench tomorrow. Madine's got a virus which is really killing him, so he's struggling. On top of Ward, it means we're a little bit short in the strikers area. But Gunnarsson's done a little bit more. We'll make a decision on Gunnarsson. He was on the bench last week, but I didn't really want to put him on in the circumstances, if I'm honest. So we're just trying to coax him through whether he'll be involved tomorrow, whether he'll start or on the bench. We'll decide that later on.
You've had the international break, you had a handful of players away, but having this sort of 2-week period to work with the team, do you think that's going to help going into tomorrow?
Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, we've got one lad, Bruno, who's not even back until today. They go all over the world, don't they? And Junior was, halfway around the world to win 5-0. It's disappointing the travel and what have you, but we're all the same, aren't we? I mean, a lot of the top teams have everybody away, don't they? I think we've had 7. Ken Zahor got called up as well. He had to go over to Denmark on Tuesday. So, it's good recognition for the lads, so you can't stop that. It's just, you can't really do too much regarding Fulham when you haven't got the lads available that you think you're going to select.
Fulham have got the worst defence in the Premier League. You've yet to get this first win. Is this a huge opportunity this weekend? Is it one you must take? Well,
I think that we've got 3 out of 4 home games this month, which are vital. We've got to get points in those 3 out of the 3 of the games to get us up that table and put us back in the pack, really. Because there's quite a lot of teams struggling this season, I think. We've had opportunities to get a lot more points than we've had, but we've got to grasp that opportunity now. We can't be keeping saying the same story, and 3 out of 4 home games against nobody in the top 6, I think gives us an opportunity to get some points. But the teams that we're playing against will think the same, having playing us. So it's I do realise that.
Quite big rivals with Fulham last season, vying for that automatic place. Obviously, you prevailed in the end. But what do you make of Fulham so far this season? Have they done better or worse than you expected?
Well, I must admit, I did think they would. Be mid-table, if I'm honest, with the obviously the amount of money they spend, but it just shows you, doesn't it? It's not always the money that talks. They have some quality players. When you look, we've been looking at the squad this week, and they've got tremendous players. A lad on loan who cost 30 million, I think, last year. Those type of players, have got to flourish. It's getting that, system in any team, whatever level you are, trying to get the players knitted together, really. But the manager's a good. I like the manager. I think he's a solid, a good bloke. Who
do you think is their biggest danger man tomorrow?
Well, if I had a choice, I think if we'd have got Mitrovic, I think we'd have been in a better position than we are, if I'm honest.
Mitrovic?
Sorry?
Did you want to bring in Mitrovic?
No, we couldn't afford Mitrovic, no, but if we could have done that, I would have loved somebody like him. I think he epitomises English football, really. He can handle himself, he knows how to get the free kicks off the referees, and he's a threat, and he just wants to play. He plays for his country the same, so it's, I would think he's the main man, but they've got people from all over the world, the top players. So, but it's good. It's good. It's a good test for us. Last year we were told, how good they were, but it didn't faze us really. I think we just kept plugging away, and we managed to get that automatic position. It's different this season because we haven't invested that sort of money, but I still feel we have an opportunity. Like last week, we were in that game even with 10 men to the last second, and that's what we've got to do. We've got to keep firing, and the lads have just got to come up with a clean sheet and a couple of goals. Even
though you lost that game against Tottenham, by all accounts, it was a good performance from you with those 10 men. People have told me you could have come away perhaps with a point, and that might have been fair. Did that game actually, even though you lost, give the squad confidence?
I think so. I don't think they've lacked confidence. I think, you know, they've just been punished by every, you know, I mean, the goal that Tottenham scored, really, it shouldn't have been allowed to happen. Just a simple ball in the box. And we have been caught like that. And at the top level, you know, you can't make elementary mistakes like that. But overall, I thought the way we played, you know, just that, there were a couple of opportunities I thought, if we'd have died for it, we'd have scored goals, you know. That's what really gets to me at times. But if you don't take them opportunities, you know, they've gone and you know, at this level, you know, a team like ourselves, you've got, you know, you've got to take the opportunities when they come along.
It's not a nice stat, this one. 2 points from 8 games is the worst start Cardiff City in 29 years. If you were to lose tomorrow, it would be your, what would be Cardiff's worst start ever?
Probably mine. I can't remember a worse one than this, really. Even in the Sunday League, I don't think I went this far.
How much do you want to avoid that, and do you think you can?
Well, I mean, it's like anything else. You set off your stall, and you know, I don't. We're trying to get a team that can get enough points to stay in the league, and at the moment, we don't look like we can do that. But I know what we've got in the camp. And sometimes it's just the rub of the green, really. You know, I can tell you 4 or 5 games where we haven't had a little bit of luck or a decision that could have gone for us at crucial times, and we've not had that. The big clubs tend to get that more because they're on top more, so they get more opportunities to get decisions, in fairness. But I do feel, you know, you need a little bit of luck as well. So, you know, you've got to put that together with a solid performance, you know, defensive-wise, attacking-wise, and rub of the green. And I think anything can happen. I think we can get results off anybody. You know, I think the top 6 are really, you know, it's going to be a real struggle to get points off them, whoever you are in this league, because you know, especially the top 3 or 4 have really outgrown the league. You know, they're really a group on their own, aren't they now?
When you talk about sort of the bigger teams, do you feel perhaps they do get more decisions go their way? Well,
I think that's obvious, really, because, like I say, you look at it, and that's why I'm a massive fan of VAR, if I'm honest. I think VAR can't come soon. I think it'll affect the big clubs more than the little clubs, if I'm honest, because I do think they get decisions sometimes that VAR would sort of go the other way and say that, you know, they can't have that. And we had a meeting last week with the VAR people and the referees and Neil Warnock, and I thought it was excellent what we were told. But unfortunately, that might be a bit too late for me, VAR. But you know, I do. It's only because they have so much of the ball, so you're going to get more contentious, you know. But it's human nature, isn't it? It always has been with referees. You know, when you've got 70,000 people chanting for a decision, it's very difficult at times, especially if you've got a flag in your hand, not to do something that's probably not quite right when you look at the VAR, you know. But it's life.
And how are you feeling? Because you said tongue-in-cheek about, look, worst case scenario, you go to Italy for Christmas with Sharon. But how are you feeling? I mean, it's not nice to see Cardiff at the bottom of the table for yourself. Are you feeling any pressure?
I think if we were playing poorly, I could sort of grasp it if we, you know, but we're not. That's you can say it's a problem, but we're playing quite well. But we've got to do more than that now. We've got to work that little bit harder to create what we've got, and we've got to have that desire now to get the points from some of these 3 games. You know, the 3 games that we've got. I think we've got Leicester and Brighton after that. You know. And we know where we are. You know, the lads have got to decide, you know, do we want to stay in the Premier League as a player, as a manager, as a club, you know, and we have an opportunity, even though it looks bleak at the minute, you know, when we're 4-1 on, I think, now at the minute. So they've already thrown us away to the Wolves, haven't they? But, you know, that's how life is. It's if you feel sorry for yourself, you know, you go under. The pleasing thing for me is, as a group of players, every day when I come in training, the training's fantastic. And if it wasn't, you know, I've been at groups where, you know, there was a bad taste in your mouth or something like that, and especially in the Premier League. Whereas here, there's nothing like that. You know, it's just frustrating for me because I know they can get better results than what we've had, even with the team we've got. You know, without making silly mistakes, we should be on 8 or 9 points now.
Finally, from me, so if you're a betting man, talked about those odds, would you put money on Cardiff to stay up this season?
No, I wouldn't. Not if I was a betting man. But you know, I'd put other people's money on it if you wanted. But I wouldn't have put a penny last year on us getting promotion. You know, I'd have said, keep your money in your pocket, don't be stupid. Some people win quite a lot of money, so some people might win a lot of money this year.
Thanks, Neil.
Thank you.
Neil, morning. The way you're talking, and you're right, 3 out of the next 4 at home, this is an absolutely crunch time for you now, isn't it? Even this early in the season?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, you look at the fixtures, and in the past few weeks, you can forgive 1 or 2. You know, I don't think we've been. You know, even the Chelsea game, I was disappointed we didn't come away with something. I thought it was our mistakes, yeah, the brilliance of Hazard as well. But I thought, you know, the only game we've really got battered was Man City. You know, for that 20-minute spell which they can do to anybody really. So we've been in amongst it, but these, like you say, your home games with the fans. I mean, to get a full house against Burnley on a Sunday afternoon, you know, takes some doing. If you thought that when we arrived at the club 2 years ago, so it's the fans are the main plus for us. They're really behind us, and the lads know that. And I think you can accept, as long as the lads give everything, I think the fans are okay with that. But, you know, we can get better results than we've had. We've proved that. We've got to stand up and be counted now, and whoever's in the shirts have got to do that little bit more.
Grasp the opportunity, you said. Yeah,
grasp the opportunity, because 3 out of 4 home games, you don't very often get that in the Premier League.
With the injuries, Joe Rawls, you say, out for a few weeks. Is the temptation to get Aaron Gunnarsson in quicker than you would like it? You say you're going to mull it over, but you know, you're not exactly blessed, are you? You're not overrun with players.
No, we're not. I mean, plus thing, Loic Damour's done really well this last week. He's been a bit of a forgotten lad as well. So you know, I think Harry's on 4 bookings. So you know, I wanted him not to get booked tomorrow because otherwise he'll be missing Liverpool. But then I think, well, let him get booked tomorrow if he wants and miss Liverpool. You know, I don't think you can stop Harry Arter. He just does what he wants, doesn't he? So you know, we're a bit short in that area. You know, we've got to try and we are looking at improving the midfield area in January as well. You know, along with a striker and a defender. So you know, it's really you've got to do what we've got to do. You know, with the players at our disposal. What
would Gunnarsson bring? I mean, he's played 8 games this year for Cardiff. But what would he bring to your campaign now? Well,
Aaron's just a leader, really. I think it's just a good to have around, a calming influence, if you like. And I'm going to leave it to him as well. You know, there's only he knows. I'm not going to put pressure on Aaron, which I didn't last week. That's why I didn't bring him on last week, really. I didn't want him just to be chasing shadows with 10 men. Are you with me? But he's got that aura about him which we've missed, really. So if he's, you know, I will definitely play him if he thinks he's all right. But he's got to. I said to him, he's got to be sensible on that. You know, I don't want him to do it just for me. I want him to do it because he's fit.
Do you often ask a player? Or?
No, not never really. But I know Aaron 100%. Some players I wouldn't dream of asking. But in Aaron's case, he's so, you know, he's so clued up and knows what he wants. He's worked very hard to get into this situation. So, you know, I think it's only fair to make sure he's right in his own mind.
And Danny Ward, how long is he out for?
Not as bad as we thought. The physios, I spoke to him yesterday. He might start training within a couple of weeks now. You know, probably the next international break. Mendes Leng as well is doing really well in the gym. You know, really working hard. I've seen him jumping up and down on his knee and everything. You know, yesterday. So you know, they are on the way back. But at the moment, you know, we can't really you consider these guys for a few weeks.
How much of a lift has Kenneth been given by being called up by Denmark?
Well, I hope so. I spoke to him yesterday. I mean, you know, he did well in training yesterday. He was disappointed because he thought he was going to be involved in the game. You know, to go that way, and you know, and thinking he's going to be involved and then not get on the pitch is disappointing for him. But hopefully he'll channel that in the right way, because if he's fit and firing, you know, he's the number 1 up front. Make no mistake about that. You know, Patterson shouldn't be our number 9, but he's done really well. He's been outstanding, and it's just as well we've got him at the moment.
You say you're looking at a midfield striker and defender ready for January. Is it a case of getting in a position to still be in the fight?
I think so. I mean, you know, you've got to look at it. We'll be probably having this conversation at the next international break, really. Probably what's surprising is how many teams are really down there this year. You know, you're talking about 8 teams, really, aren't you? 8 or 9 teams that really, you know, we could have easily had, like I say, 8 points, and that would have put the whole scenario in a different light, wouldn't it? So we just got to try and get the points on board so we can give ourselves an outside chance, that's all.
And Harry Arter, you won't be surprised, you might have seen it, was booked for Ireland against Wales on Tuesday night. You don't want to take that away from him, but I mean, he is on 4 bookings for you now. Well,
I mean, you don't get players like that for nothing on loan unless there's something in the makeup. And Eddie, to be fair to Eddie, he did say that to me. You know, he said he'd get booked in training. And he can't change. I don't want to really change him, if I'm honest. I just got to make sure I've got backup for when he gets suspended.
But do you ever say to him?
Every day, every week, before every game, at half time during a game, during the second half. I said it to him about 15 minutes before the end of the game. Harry, just be sensible. I forget when it was. He got booked in 90th minute. So really, I might as well keep my mouth shut.
And yet you speak to any fan and they'll say he's been one of the successes this
Well, I think they've all done well. I think Victor's been a success, you know. I think Harry and Victor's done really well. I felt a bit sorry for Joe because Joe's had to play a position he's not really made out to be, a defensive midfield player. But, you know, the only other option in the first game was Selbamba, wasn't it? So it's, you know, we are a bit thin, like we say. You don't realise until you've been in the league a couple of, you know, I think a couple of months, just how thin the squads are when you look at the number of like under 23s at the top clubs that aren't even in their 25s, and they can just bring these internationals in from the under 23s, and you know that's what the club like Cardiff have got to do. I'm sure that's what Sean's been doing at Burnley, you know, trying to build a club, a stronger unit, and we're miles away regarding as a club in that respect, but you can't say no to the Premier League. You've got to get in there and do your best and try and make the club a better place for future years, really, and that's what we're trying to do.
And last couple, Fulham, I suppose the one thing you would say, a bit like yourselves, they kept playing the way they got up, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, I think they've been a little bit more direct at times this season than they were last year, but you know, I think type of teams we're all playing against now, it means you have to be at times. But like I say, he's one of my favourite managers. I can't say his name. I can never tell you how to pronounce his name, but I think he's a super guy, and I think he's done a brilliant job in England, at Watford and at Fulham. So, you know, I look on with envy when I see the money that he spent, but it just shows you sometimes that brings other problems for you, and, you know, probably puts more pressure on you at times to get the results.
Last thing, you said something really interesting just now. You said the top 4 have outgrown the league. How much of a worry is that for the Premier League, would you say?
Well, I don't think it's a worry, because I still think that anybody in the rest of the division can get a result off them, off the top 4 on a particular day. You know, I think that's the appeal of the Premier League. That there's no foregone conclusion like there is in Germany and in Spain, really, that you've just got those, you know, 1 or 2 teams. I think in England, although you've got 4, I think this season probably 4 real top sides, and then you've got a couple that should be there or thereabouts, shouldn't you? You've still got an opportunity to take points off the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. The top 4 is very, very difficult. You know, we've got a Liverpool next week. You know, it's very difficult to see where you're going to take points off these teams, but it is possible. You know, on a good day for you and a bad day for them, and things going your way. It's such an open league, and that's why everybody in the world wants to watch it, really, because you don't get that anywhere else. You know, and how many pools would we upset next week? You know, if we got a result there, you know, that is the nature of the game, really.